Thank you. So good morning, everyone. My name is Cécile Balty. I'm a PhD student in communication at the ULB here in Brussels, and I'm working on migrations and protest discourses. So today I'm going to present to you a research about the Brussels Citizens Platform for Refugee Support. I will first say a few words about this association, the main studies about this kind of grassroots initiatives, and then I'll briefly explain my research question, my work hypothesis, conceptual framework, my corpus, or the methodology I use to study it. And finally, I'll explain to you the results of this discourse analysis. All right, so I don't know if the PowerPoint, how am I supposed to?
You can just do it the way you would, and we can see your screen.
Okay, so do you see my screen, and is it shifting from
We
slides?
see what we see now is the title slide.
Okay, so it's not shifting. All right, so how am I supposed to? Yeah, I see right here. Sorry about that. All right,
That's okay.
so about the Citizens Platform for Refugee Support. It is a grassroots movement supporting refugees created in 2015 by citizens from Brussels, and it provides basic humanitarian and social services to refugees and advocates for a more humane reception policy. So a lot of grassroots movements have developed in European countries during the so-called refugee crisis, and those movements have been extensively studied in the past few years. These studies about the socio-political conditions and consequences of the Citizens Platform have shown that, first, Brussels is an environment particularly propitious for crafting solidarities. Second, the Citizens Platform emerged as a form of what is theorized as subversive humanitarianism. This means that even though they are describing their action as apolitical, these actions are not purely humanitarian either, because they act against the dominant political view. Moreover, many volunteers politicize themselves because of meeting and hosting refugees. So academics agree that these grassroots movements tend to redraw the borders of inclusion and exclusion. And finally, this politicizing process is a key issue in understanding citizenship and the functioning of self-appointed representativity in democracy. So Knops and Sever's studies of the Citizens Platform Facebook page shows that the Citizens Platform operates as a self-appointed representative of both the citizens and the refugees and produces another conception of the people. So in line with this literature, the study addresses the shift in society enacted by civil initiatives supporting refugees, such as the Citizens Platform. Okay, so what is interesting here is that usually protest discourses supporting refugees are said to fail to legitimate the claim because it goes against the ideology rooting nation states. Indeed, discrimination between citizens and non-citizens is structural in nation states, and this is accepted by a society whose collective beliefs make the demand for equality between citizens and non-citizens rather unthinkable. Yet, the Citizens Platform managed to establish itself as a key actor in the refugee crisis and to voice a counter-discourse regarding the reception of refugees. So my research question is, how has it faced this challenging discourse and what are its discursive strategies? My work hypothesis was that as these civil initiatives were redrawing the borders of inclusion and exclusion, they were redefining in discourse this very distinction between citizens and refugees, as well as between citizens. So I was interested in the way the Citizens Platform was describing relations to refugees and to otherness in general in discourse. I'm using the notion of protest discourse as a social practice used by collective actors who intend to change social reality by changing the perception of this reality. This refers to discourses as symbolic actions allowing to produce social meaning, and it emphasizes the program for change of norms and values entailed in any protest discourse. Or, as Ethan Okibi puts it, the role played by collective action movements in the evolution and transformation of the vocabulary and discourse that manage the system of norms and values in our society. I used a conceptual framework built on two main concepts, the notion of controversy developed by Juliette Rennes on the one hand, and the notion of said discursive ethos on the other hand. So the equality controversy is a controversy specific to demands for equality in democracy. Juliette Rennes shows that different fights for equality tend indeed to use the same kind of arguments and to rely on previous fights for equality as well. So in this kind of controversy, proponents to equality ground their claim in the universalist and humanist values from the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. And this notion, the notion of equality controversy, is particularly interesting to study the discursive strategies of the Citizens Platform, because one of the first manifesto they published online opens on the primacy of universal rights, as you can see in the following example, where it is said that the Citizens Platform for Refugee Support wants to build a concrete solidarity with all migrants, and later on it reminds that the right to live in dignity belongs to everyone. So here the challenge is to advocate for the primacy of these universal rights over the institutional distinctions in nation states, which is typical to equality controversy. And in the case of the Citizens Platform protest discourse, it is about advocating for the primacy of these universal rights over the discrimination, the institutional discrimination between citizens and non-citizens. The second notion I used to analyze the Citizens Platform discourse is the said discursive ethos. Because this civil initiative has just been created in 2015, they are extensively saying themselves. They say who they are and the reasons why they do what they do. So the study of the said discursive ethos allows to analyze how they define themselves, but also the way they define themselves in relation to the government and in relation to refugees. I conducted a discourse analysis on 20 YouTube videos from the spokesperson of the Citizens Platform. So I searched all videos on YouTube with the query Plateforme Citoyenne de Soutien aux Réfugiés. Then I sorted the results to keep only the ones where a spokesperson from the platform is talking. These videos spread from 2015 to 2019, and the three main spokespersons during those years are Elodie Francard, Mehdi Kassou, and Adriana Costa Santos. These 20 videos represent a hybrid corpus, gathering videos from various genres and of different durations, like short interviews of 1 or 2 minutes to long participations in debates of more than an hour. And most videos and views of the corpus are concentrated in the last 2 years, showing that the discourse of the Citizens Platform circulates more and more on the web. So my methodology was basically to identify the way the Citizens Platform was describing itself in discourse, as well as its main arguments used to support the refugee reception. So therefore I transcribed the videos and only worked on the texts. I incrementally filled up an Excel sheet with any syntax, adjectives, anaphors, complements, and so on, qualifying the Citizens Platform. And finally, the argumentative schemes from the equality controversy in mind, I added any interesting observation regarding the reasons why the platform advocates for refugee reception. So this helps me to identify 3 discursive strategies I'm going to present to you right now. So first, it is striking how the citizens platform defines itself as a consequence of the failure of the government in providing humane reception for refugees, as we can see in the following 2 examples. So in the first one, the citizens platform describes itself saying that it is a non-profit organization composed in 2015 by citizens who decided to help and to make up for the failings of the states. And the second one says that we exist because of these decisions and so on. We are the consequence of the dehumanization of these political decisions. So in the corpus, the citizens platform is extensively defining itself as humane and solidary, while the Belgian government takes measures that I said dehumanizing, repressive, violent, and even illegal. There is a strong Manichean conflict of values in discourse between the solidary citizens platform that supports refugees and the inhumane government who does not respect their human rights. So this simplification allows to frame the public problem of the refugee crisis according to the citizens platform perception of reality. An alternative discursive reality emerges that momentaneously takes over the reality, and as a result, it appears urgent to take the measures required by the citizens platform. The second discursive strategy identified in the corpus concerns the designation of refugees. So when it comes to designating refugees, the term refugees or even migrants is actually hardly used in the corpus, and refugees are rather designated as humans, persons, residents of the Maximilian Park. So the Maximilian Park is the park in front of the Belgian Foreign Office where the refugees gathered and camped. And they are also designated simply like people like us. The issue they are facing is simply designated as a lack of document or an administrative issue. And the relation between refugees and citizens even tap in a more intimate register. Refugees are hosted and then guests, and later friends and family. So this results in blurring the difference of statutes between refugees and citizens. What is striking is that meta-discursive comments from the spokespersons shows that this is a conscious discursive strategy, as exampled here, about in this excerpt about the lexical creativity was, nous in French, which is a contraction of the first and second persons. So this lexical creativity is an inclusive term that would bring together all these people who are mobilizing themselves each at their own level to offer assistance to migrants. And later on, it also includes the people we welcome, the migrants themselves in this term, around the Solidarity project. So the lexical creativity was designates volunteers, citizens hosting refugees, and refugees themselves under one word. With this one word, the citizens platform erases in discourse all difference of statutes between them and prescribes at the same time the solidarity that binds them together. Discursive strategy around the designation of the actors is called designative battle by Juliette Rennes. It allows the citizens platform to impose its own definition of the issues at stake, and shifting from the focus on refugee status to their humane condition and their human rights. This leads us to the third discursive strategy. So as we have seen previously, the citizens platform defines itself in opposition to the government and in relation to refugees. But its discursive ethos is also and foremost built around the notion of citizenship. Used in its name itself, the notion of citizenship is really part of the citizens platform DNA. In the corpus, the citizens are said to be reflecting the Belgian society, willing to shape a solidarist society from all social categories, all political convictions, all colors, all origins, but reunited with solidarity around the shared humanity. So these examples of a double rhetoric of diversity and social cohesion are numerous in the corpus. And these challenge the communitarian view of solidarity in nation states and overcome one of the limitations that discourses supporting refugees usually encounter. Because here, the notion of solidarity is universally understood and should apply to everyone as a human being. It has both a descriptive dimension, solidarity as applied by the platform, and a prescriptive dimension, solidarity as it should be applied at a societal level.
I'm sorry to interrupt,
yes?
Cécile. You have about 5 minutes more.
Okay, thank you very much. So what is more, the solidarity has led to a new mindset towards otherness. In this example, it is said that because they have hosted refugees, families have overcome their fears and stereotypes towards strangers, and that they share this experience with their neighbors, friends, and colleagues. At the same time, the Citizens Platform stresses in discourse the democratic power of citizens. These become social actors, electors, able to change the way to make society, like in the following example, where people are simply riding the solidarity train, where I can become an actor in the society I'm in, or even where people today have regained their strength, a democratic energy that gives them an active role in society. So this is what Juliette Soren calls a semantic battle around value words. Value words are words that both proponents and opponents of an equality controversy value and seek to appropriate in discourse as their own values. So the Citizens Platform appropriates in discourse the value words of citizenship and solidarity that are also important to nation states, and as a result, it shapes in discourse an alternative way to make society. So to sum up, the concept of equality controversy and the concept of said discursive ethos have allowed to highlight 3 main discursive strategies. First, a Manichean conflict of values between the human and solidary citizens platform and the repressive, violent government creates a simplified discursive reality that legitimates the citizens platform claim for equality. Second, a designative battle about refugees blurs the difference of statuses between refugees and citizens and emphasizes their similarities as human beings. And finally, a semantic battle around the notion of citizenship and solidarity leads to a redefinition of those terms and shapes in discourse an alternative way to make society. So as a conclusion, we can say that the Citizens Platform reappropriates an argumentative scheme specific to equality demands in democracy, which results in a shift of the borders of what can be thought, said, and done at a socio-historical space and time about refugees, citizens, and the solidarity that should bind them together. Through these different discursive strategies, the Citizens Platform redefines these categories in discourse and in turn makes the distinction between citizens and refugees less obvious and natural than the institutional distinctions needs to be. This has led me to further investigate these notions in 2 main Belgian associations supporting refugees, but this is still a work in progress. So thank you very much